morning, everybody. Thank you for joining. I think everybody's on mute, but as you jump on and as the program starts, we will ask you to mute. There's a Spark question. What is your favorite herb and why? Feel free to enter that in the chat or chat it out loud. It's really hard to not make an obvious herb joke, I just have to say.
Make one. Go ahead, do it. I want to hear it. I don't know that I've ever heard a good herb joke. Let's hear it. Come on.
Well, I better not.
You set yourself up, Kathy.
I sure did. I once learned. I once learned that sometimes not alluding to the joke is as funny as making the joke. Here I have backed myself into a corner. Feel like I should tell you what my favorite herb is.
You should.
Rosemary, of course.
Okay. And what do you use rosemary for?
So actually, I really do love rosemary, and I love rosemary with sweet potatoes of any kind, but rosemary it brings out the flavor of a sweet potato. It's just delicious.
Okay. I love it on pork or even chicken.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but I'd have to say my favorite herb is probably cilantro.
Oh,
I love cilantro. Not everybody likes cilantro, but yeah.
Yep.
There's a bread recipe I have if anybody ever wants it that's really good. I love to cook.
Cilantro bread?
With cilantro, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, you use it as a French bread loaf with cheese and garlic butter and cilantro, and
oh man,
how can it be bad? You know,
yeah.
Maybe bad for you, but not bad tasting. Mm-hmm. I apologize if y'all hear my dog whining in the background. My son left, and he's whining because my son is not here. He keeps going back and forth to the window and the door. He's a big 10-month-old, 64-pound baby I just adopted last week.
Oh.
So, yeah. Named Moose. He's a sweetheart.
Moose,
yeah. I don't know if Christy's on today. I don't see her from the shelter.
I don't see her.
I don't see her either. But he's a real sweetheart.
Good. Just a couple more minutes and we will get moving and grooving. All right. It is 11:35. We will get going. Please do continue utilizing the chat to tell us what your favorite herb is and why. If you have any recipes that you can cut and paste, go ahead and cut and paste them or copy and paste them into the chat. For those who have just joined us, if you will go ahead and mute your device so that we don't get any feedback or noise or anything, that would be great. Please keep going your video so we can see your beautiful faces. And good morning. My name is Kathy Lavoie. I'm the current board chair of the Women's Resource Center of Alamance County. And it is a dreary Wednesday, but we are so glad to be here all together to learn and connect and just have a good time. We do thank you for joining us. You can do a lot with your lunch hour, and we thank you for making us part of your lunch hour today. Let's see. Just want to make everybody aware that the event is being recorded, which is, I think, a new thing that we are doing from now on. That way we have access to the wisdom and insights that we are able to receive every week that we can share with others who aren't able to join us. First, are there any elected officials here today? I don't see any on the list. So we will jump into the recognition of our sponsors. In advance, thank you to all the sponsors for making it possible for us to do the work that we do. Our visionary sponsor is LabCorp. We do thank you for helping us spread our vision and do the things we do. Sustaining sponsor, Walmart Supply Chain, or sustaining sponsors, Walmart Supply Chain and Impact Elements. Anybody from Impact Elements have an announcement today? Okay, doesn't seem like it. If so, enter it in the chat and we can jump back to it. Thank you to our supporting sponsor, Glen Raven. Our major sponsors are Elon University, the Alamance County Chamber of Commerce, or the Alamance Chamber of Commerce. Reagan, anything, or anybody from there got anything? Okay. Proponent Federal Credit Union, Always Best Care Senior Services, and I see that Samantha is with us. Any announcement from you all, Samantha?
Good morning. I just want to let everyone know that we are looking to hire a full-time registered nurse. If anybody knows anybody, please send them my way. And then in the next couple of weeks, we'll be looking for an administrative assistant as well. So full-time. Thank you.
Very good. Thanks, Samantha. Nelson Technology. Barbara, any?
Yeah, we're rocking, moving right along. We've got a lot of good things coming up. We're going to do a big launch next month, and we'll be running some specials, so stay tuned. Right now, if anybody wants to come on board and get phones, we'll give them a free fax line. So, yeah, just keeping technology rocking and safe. So that's what we do.
Very good. Thank you, Barbara. Of course, we are seeing over the past year the importance of technology and the way it keeps us all connected. So,
absolutely. I'm telling you what, without technology, I think through the pandemic, we would all have been up the creek together without paddles. So, yeah, absolutely.
Yep. Thanks, Barbara.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Continuing on, Prime Personnel Resources, Treliant Federal Credit Union.
Yes, hello. And no particular announcements today other than we enjoyed being with you for the first in a series of financial education webinars for building a better budget. The next one is going to be in May.
Wonderful. Awesome. Thank you, Tommy.
Mm-hmm.
With Pinnacle Wealth Partners, Angie Hall, another of our major sponsors. Thank you again to all of you major sponsors, and we'll jump to corporate sponsors. We have Pinnacle Wealth Partners, and that's Aaron Cockman, Twin Lakes Community, Katie Smith Photography, and Gillian Bell Moser. Again, as I say every week, you guys make it possible for us to do through our organization what we're able to do. So thank you for your support of us, and more importantly to the community and to the women and the whole community really in Alamance County. I want to give a special shout out to all of our members today. It's good to have a lot of you here today, and thank you for your support as always. And thanks to the board of directors. We have a great group of folks who come together once a month plus to work on making sure that our organization is the best it can be. So thanks everybody on the board and for members for all the work that you guys do. If you're wondering and curious and interested, membership is $30. Any amount of donation that you make if you're not a member, after that $30, the first 30 is applied as a membership, and the remaining amount is applied as a donation. And of course, we appreciate any donation that you'd like to make. You can make those donations and purchase memberships at wrcac.org/donate, and you can see that up on the screen. As you can also see up on the screen, we have a pretty exciting speaker on our next Working Women's Wednesday, April 28th. The women's basketball coach at Elon University, Charlotte Smith, will be speaking to us, which feels to me particularly relevant since right now we are kind of in the midst of prime basketball season. And personally, I'm glad that we were able to watch a little bit of basketball this year. And I will turn it over to Susan.
Thanks, Kathy. Really excited to be here today, and I'm really glad that everybody that's on the call is joining us. We, in March, as you know, it's Women's History Month, and we have been celebrating our own history because it's our 30th anniversary of the Women's Resource Center. So, of course, as a nonprofit, we created a campaign all around the 30th anniversary, and it's called Donate to Celebrate. Kathy's already been talking about where you can go to donate, but I hope that you've seen some of the promotion around our history. I like to say her story this month. We had a proclamation from the Alamance County Commissioners on the 1st of March, followed up on the 8th, which was our anniversary, with our founder, Becky Mock, who's on the call today, talking about the early years, how it was established. We just can't say enough about these interviews that we did this month. I thoroughly enjoyed being a part of them, and I learned a lot. And they're actually on our YouTube channel that Kate can put some information, I think, in the chat about that, where if you missed them and you didn't see them, they were on Facebook, but they're also recorded on a YouTube channel so that you can go back and catch up on it. The pictures were awesome. The commentary was just incredible. On March the 11th, we did a second one with Heidi Norwick, who, excuse me, is the first executive director of the Women's Resource Center. And then on the 15th, Linda Stubblefield joined me, and we talked about navigating change as a nonprofit during the years that I've been the executive director. We continue to celebrate this event. Our goal has been $30,000 for 30 years. And to date, we're a little over $9,000 toward that goal. So we hope that you find value in the work and the mission that we have, and that you would also want to be a part of Donate to Celebrate. In April coming up, it's a big month for us. First of all, our programming, we have Working Smart soft skill training for workforce development, where we've partnered with Alamance Community College. Aaron Cockman with Pinnacle Wealth Partners is doing workshop on retirement planning for working professionals. Trudy Tobias is going to be talking about changing your beliefs. And then Breaking Up and Moving On is toward the end of the month. But the big event for the whole community is our 22nd Herb Festival. The dates for it are April the 15th through the 17th. We did not get to have this event last year, and it was missed in the community, but it was a huge hit for us because it's our largest annual fundraiser. As you can see, it takes a lot of volunteers and 3 days to put it on, not to mention all of the planning that goes on behind the scenes getting ready for it. This year, it's a little different. It's going to be outside right here on the property of the First Presbyterian Church. We've got a couple of big tents we're putting up. We are also taking pre-orders for a limited variety of herbs, plants, vegetables that you can find links to on our website. There's an Herb Festival page. There are also links for volunteers to sign up. The pre-orders are for folks that maybe don't want to get in the crowd and do the shopping. Everybody that comes to the on-site event, though, will be required to wear a mask, and we will be practicing social distancing. We're going to continue to do that, even though we know yesterday the governor relaxed some of the restrictions, which is awesome. I think we're all glad that spring is here and we're ready to get outside. But this event, we're going to really practice safety and be cautious around this virus that has just spread throughout our community. So we hope you'll join us. You'll order online or you'll come and shop. The 15th is actually our supporting member preview. And normally it's a party and we serve food and really celebrate while you're getting the first pick of these beautiful plants. There will not be any food available, and it's going to be, the preview part is from 3 to 6 on the afternoon of the 15th, because it is going to be an outdoor event. So the public shopping will be the 16th and 17th, and we're closing it a little early this year. So it'll be all day on Friday, and then from 8:30 till 1:30 on Saturday. So be sure that you follow us on Facebook. The event is set up on Facebook, but all of the information you need is also on our website. And we really look forward to supporting the community through this event, and the community in turn supporting the Women's Resource Center. A community is strengthened by women who lead self-sufficient and productive lives. Our vision is that all women in Alamance County reach and live into their fullest potential. Today, Annie Baggett is helping us kick this herb festival season off, and we're just thrilled that she can talk about Sunshine Lavender Farm here today. Annie and her husband Dale, her daughters Abigail and Sylvie, own and operate Sunshine Lavender Farm in the community of, I may get this wrong, I should have looked it up. I'm going to say Shelley, north of Hillsboro. They found, is that correct?
Nope.
If you're from here, it's Sly.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Well, I will let you handle that then. Thank you so much. After looking at it on the website, I'm pretty excited about it and want to make a trip over there. It was founded in 2000. The family grows lavender for fresh and preserved floral use, and also creates beautiful handcrafted items for body, garden, gifts, home, and weddings. With the aim to preserve the rural landscape and engage the lavender-loving community, which I'm one of those, the farm hosts guests during June Bloom and holiday open farm weekend experiences. Throughout Annie's 35-year career, her training and expertise in marketing, communications, and advertising, this has all created a solid foundation for her farm endeavor. Prior to joining the North Carolina Department of Agriculture and Consumer Services in 2014, Annie led as executive director of the North Carolina Therapeutic Riding Center in Mebane, a nonprofit providing services for individuals with disabilities through horse-centered programming. For 15 years prior to working in nonprofit, Annie teamed with Central North Carolina entrepreneurs, universities, and businesses, both small and large, through a marketing consulting business. Pledged to the success of all farms in North Carolina, engaging with the public, Annie understands the needs the farmer hosting guests and is grateful for the opportunity to participate. We are thrilled to hear about Annie's journey through farming, her agritourism business, and we welcome you today, Annie, and we're going to turn this over to you and look forward to hearing all about your lavender farm.
Thank you so much, Susan and Kate and everyone that's on the call today. I also wanted to thank Ruth, who reached out to me and asked me to join in, and asked me to join in a year ago. So, you know, I'm so glad that this is happening now. We've had quite a year. It's great to hear the news about the upcoming Herb Festival and that it's going to be an outdoor event. Growing things has never been more important to the public. Outdoor experiences are really important, and thanks for helping to keep folks safe with continuing with that mask wearing and social distancing and all of those things that we need to have top of mind as things continue to unfold during these COVID times. So I do have a slide deck to share with you, because certainly you can't take a virtual tour and hear about a farm without visuals. So do I have screen sharing opportunities? Okay, great.
Oh, the little
Thank you.
pot.
I found it.
Not that I was thinking.
Don't get up, I'll find it.
I was thinking.
All right.
Just want to make sure that everybody that's joining on the call has their devices muted, if you don't mind. Go ahead and take a look and make sure you're on mute.
Okay, so are you all able to see that opening screen with our logo? Okay, terrific. So welcome to Sunshine Lavender Farm, and Susan gave a great introduction. I actually, before we moved here over 20 years ago, I had a vision or a dream that the field in front of our house was purple, and I didn't understand the meaning of that. At the time, our children, our two daughters, were very young, and I was very busy, professional, working in corporate America, flying all over the place, crazy times. But I had this dream when we first purchased this property with the plan to build a house. And this, an artist, a local artist out of Greensboro, Tom Hagee, heard me tell that story, and he came up with this painting that he painted actually at one of our very first events that we hosted. So back in 1999, we hosted a lavender planting with friends and family, and we had lots of adult beverages, so the rows are a little bit crooked. This is my best friend who now lives in Pennsylvania, but she helped to plant, and that's my sister in the background. But we put in about 1,000 lavender plants. So this is a grosso plant, and this is kind of our signature image. And you'll see some lavender blooms in June, and this is a June image. Here's the why of our experience when it comes to lavender farming. This is Abigail. Abigail was 10 when we first started the farm, and Sylvie was a toddler. They both have been instrumental in, you know, kind of the evolution of our farm. And Abigail has, she was born early with special needs. She was born at Duke, where we were at Duke Hospital for a follow-up appointment. She ended up being in the hospital for about 3 months when she was first born. And as a result of our experience there, we had lots of follow-ups. And so one day we went to a follow-up appointment. And when you have a little one, you know, you're wandering around showing them all of the billboards and all of the pretty art and stuff that are in the hallways. And there was an announcement that said that that Duke Hospital had a plan to start a farmer's market, and the first farmer's market at a medical center in the country. So this was 2000, you know, this was a long time ago. This was when farmers markets were not hip places to be. So there was a phone number, and I called it, and the person on the other end was a nurse, and she said, "Yes, we are starting a market, and tell me what you do." And I was like, "Well, we probably won't have a crop until next year, but we grow lavender." And she said, what? Oh my goodness. She said, I did a lot of my work in alternative medicine. And lavender is one of those herbs that is just incredibly soothing and calming and will be perfect in a medical community. So we became charter members of the first farmers market launched in a medical center. And we spent a lot of time at that market, about 10 years. It bounced around a lot because you know how construction is at universities. Both of our girls learned how to engage with the public, how to count money and change, and really, become vested in the farm and in the community. We thought that starting the farm would be a good opportunity for us as a family to help both our daughters understand, kind of what it's like to be an entrepreneur and to be in business and to grow things. So here we are today. This picture was actually taken just before the pandemic, the fall before pandemic. So they're now much older, and they call each other the lavender heiresses, and I don't really know what that means yet, but one day we'll learn. So this is my husband, Dale. He is my anchor, and when we first started considering what to do on this land, our property is adjacent to many acres, many hundreds of acres of a dairy farm. And it had been in agriculture for a very long time. And when we moved here and talked with that farmer, he asked us, what's your plan for this land? And I come from grandparents, both sets of grandparents were dairy farmers and had significant dairy operations. And I said, I would love to keep it in agriculture in some way. And I turned to Dale and I said, is that okay with you? And he said, sure, you do whatever you want with that field. And that kind of unleashed me. And he now I kind of wonder what he thinks these days, but he's become a beekeeper. He says he only digs the holes on the farm, but that is not true. He's pretty amazing guy. So spring on the farm. So we're very much in the early days. The lavender is still very dormant right now, but we look forward to later in the spring, June bloom. Most of the buds will start to set in May. Some of the earliest bloomers will occur around Memorial Day. Things are still dormant. Lavender really needs consistent temperatures of about 80, 85 degrees for it to start to send out its new foliage. So we offer farm experiences like Susan had mentioned, and we've had to pivot as well during COVID. So this very weekend, a year ago, we were supposed to be at the farmers market at UNC Hospital in Hillsborough. And of course that market got canceled, and we had pre-sold plants. We had people planning to come for a clinic to learn about planting lavender. And so what we ended up doing was we did a drive-through pickup. And not only is my husband just incredibly supportive, but he's also very funny in that he said our drive-through pickup was faster than McDonald's. But anyway, we ended up pivoting and shifting, and that was kind of a very stressful weekend. In about 24 to 48 hours, we shifted totally to everything on farm and timed people through to get what they needed and to get their questions answered. So this year, we adopted some new platforms, which a lot of organizations and to include farms have. They have pre-ordering, you can invest in time ticketing. So those are the kinds of things that we're doing. So this weekend we're offering a planning clinic on Saturday for folks that want to come, and then again in April. This is a full blooming, very mature lavender plant that, you know, when it's in bloom, you can't even get your arms around it. It's such a big plant. Certainly stunning. This is a headcoat lavender, which is a Lavandula augustifolia, which I absolutely love and is great for cooking. So we do offer, you know, kind of pre-COVID, these are some of the images where folks can come to visit in kind of a festival-like situation. So we won't be doing that in June. We'll probably be offering some workshops for social bubbles and for outdoor experiences with still social distancing. But we've invited artists to come. You do workshops and create some fresh crowns, and we teach how to make a Victorian craft, the lavender wands. Sometimes they're called bottles. On the farm when the lavender is in bloom. People just really enjoy coming to the farm and exclaim that when they first pull in, even though they can't see any of the lavender, they can smell it. These are just some additional images of opportunities for folks to enjoy the farm, and Zach, one of our harvesters. So things happen on farms, and this is another picture of Dale. I always include this in our presentations because that face is pretty much the face he has for me with anything that I, you know, say, here's what I'm going to do next. He's sort of like, okay, I'm going to grin and bear it. So, you know, things happen. One year, this particular snake was very persistent. And this was during a June event, and this snake was like hiding in flower boxes, trying to get into the garden shed. It ended up in the coop, and so Dale is my snake charmer, so he took care of it, put it in a feed bag, and he drove it about 3 miles down the road to our neighbor's farm. So we harvest lavender after the celebration in June, and this is Abigail and Jen, two of our favorite farm workers that come and help us harvest. So we cut bundles of about 100 stems, bundle them, and take them up to the barn loft to dry. Also in the summer, you know, we offer trips to France. We have groups really small groups, 10 to 15 at the most. I coordinate itineraries with a friend that lives in France, and we go and we see the world's most incredible lavender, truly. And we've been hosting these tours since 2011. I was there in 2019. And of course, we've delayed things since international travel is not something that's safe now, but hopefully we'll be able to return. The way in which this idea started is I was doing a tour on the farm in the early days, and a gentleman asked me if I had ever seen the lavender in Provence. And I told him that I had not, you know, that I had traveled to a lot of farms in the US, while in the early days when we were doing some research, but had not had the opportunity to travel abroad to see fresh blooming lavender. And he said, you need to put that on your bucket list. So, you know, at the time, so, you know, imagine 20 years ago, I was 37 when we started the farm. I feel ancient now, you know, 20 some years later. But I took that to heart. I put it on my bucket list. And lo and behold, in 2011, we went on our first trip. So we've done several. So fall on the farm, I was asked to participate in a Scarecrow contest in downtown Hillsborough, and they asked us to create a lavender themed one. So I used all lavender, all pieces and parts of lavender and plants on the farm, and stuffed this gal full. And she was at the intersection of King Street and Churton Street for a couple of weekends. And so any way that we can engage. In the fall, we also like to roast s'mores and make them lavender s'mores. And that was something that we did a lot on the farm during the fall. We also have hosted holiday experiences on the farm. So all those folks that come and visit us in June like to come and visit us during the holidays. And, when this question first came to me during a June event, I was like, there's really nothing happening with the lavender in June. In December, it's all happening in June. Why in the world would you want to come to the farm, when it's cold and the lavender is dormant? And they're like, well, we'd like to have the opportunity to shop locally for all of the lavender goodies that you have made over the years. So we have created a line and expanded it over the years with our value-added products. So, understanding the why. So we make sugar cookies with lavender and share that, and hot chocolate with lavender, and those things have become a staple. And now many people who said, wow, you weren't able to do that same sort of experience this past holiday season. We did an outdoor event, but people were really missing and reminiscing. And I'm sure the same is true for the resource centers events and the herb festivals of the past. So these are just some of the comments that people make. The one that I really love the most is, will you adopt me? A young woman who has been following us for a very long time, she came to visit the farm as a kid. She was a 4th grader. And she came back to visit during the holidays. She was on break from college, and she came back and she brought her college roommates with her. And she said, I feel like I've grown up on the farm, and I wish that you would adopt me so that I could live on the farm with you and help you. And I always thought, well, that is probably one of the most lovely things that someone could say. So these are just some photos of kind of things that happen. So, our girls are now 24 or almost 24 and almost, well, I guess she's 30 now. And, we continue to evolve, and Dale and I talk about retirement. I think Dale talks about it more than I do. I like to be a very busy person with purpose. And Dale has taken on more and more farm responsibilities, and we don't want to put pressure on the girls at all. The farm will become theirs one day to do with what they wish. We talk about the possibilities, and I think legacy planning is one of the biggest challenges that happens in our agricultural community today. The average age of the farmer is my age, which is 59. And many 59-year-old farmers are feeling their age, and farming can be tough, physically, mentally, emotionally. And it's important to instill in the next generation the importance of preservation of the farmland and of the farm itself. Especially, we border Orange and Person counties, and development is huge, and there are a lot of pressures on the agricultural system itself. So kind of all while, and a common theme for farmers is that they work full-time off the farm. So that is what I do as a day job. In my work that I was doing with the Therapeutic Riding Center in Mebane as an executive director, I was out fundraising for the nonprofit, for the group, and that is where. Yes, was there a question? So while I was out fundraising for the Therapeutic Riding Center. And the way in which I got involved there is that Abigail was, she was a client in the early days of that nonprofit. So as a result of kind of being out and about the community, there were folks from the ag community who had reached out to me and said, you know, you would be perfect for this job. We really are looking for someone who is a farmer and someone who has marketing expertise. Would you consider coming to talk with us? And, you know, I really was not interested in pursuing another career at that point in my life. I was, you know, in my 50s, and I was like, I've found my place. I've found my home. But they were persistent. So in 2014, I shifted to the Department of Agriculture. And now what I do is I support farmers that welcome visitors who do what we do on the lavender farm. So our goal at the department is to create position North Carolina as the go-to destination for farm visits and local food in the world. And as I mentioned earlier, during the pandemic, this has been more important than ever before. People wanted to know where their food came from. They wanted to be outside and be able to have experiences outdoors with their families where they could be safe. So basically, my job is to ease the marketing burden for farmers, for growers and producers. So think about the farmers that you know. They do what they do really well. They grow, raise, catch, and make products. They care about their animals. They care about their land. It's really hard for them to capture and retain customers consistently so that they have strong revenue streams, so that they can do what they do best. Marketing is the top need of every small business, not just farmers. So that's what we do. So there's a product that I'd love for you to consider downloading on your tablet, on your smartphone. We have created a Visit North Carolina Farms mobile app that connects you to agribusinesses, to farmers, to local restaurants, to farmers markets, to farm stays. So you can actually stay on a farm, like a cabin or glamping or camping, which is actually the number one worldwide trend or desire, is that visitors, tourists want to stay on a farm. They want to learn about farms. They want to visit with farmers. So basically, this tool connects you in real time, and you have the opportunity to learn about special events, opportunities that are happening on farms. So this is just kind of what it looks like. I am an agribusiness economic developer. So it's all about vibrant communities. Agriculture is our number one industry in the state. And when you have a top industry, the opportunity to grow that industry is better than attracting new industry. So supporting agriculture, supporting local food, local farms is a way to connect consumers in a more robust way. And that translates to more robust, vibrant communities, especially our rural communities, which are really struggling now amidst COVID. In the midst of the pandemic, so we were just expanding this product statewide a year ago. We were really not in a position to market it. But what ended up happening is that our growers and producers needed to pivot. They needed to make consumers aware of where they could go and get local food and how. So what ended up happening kind of through earned media and through word of mouth is that user engagement within the app went up 52% and user downloads went up 41%. People were excited about this product. So what happens when you land in this product? You'll find a list of farms, growers, and producers closest to you. You'll find a map, and you'll learn how close they are to you and a little bit about them. You can actually filter by products. So if you're looking for strawberries, which will be in season very, very soon, you can find the strawberry growers closest to you that are offering maybe drive-through pickup or pick your own. Maybe they have a farm stand. So you'll understand the distance from you. You can filter based on, you know, where you're traveling across the state, activities you might be interested in. If you're only interested in women-owned farms, you can learn about them. You can learn about how to buy. You know, if farmers are accepting cash or check or cards or EBT, you know, any of their services, you can apply for that. There are notifications. So basically there are mini billboards that can appear on your phone if you'd like to have them sent to you from the individual growers and producers. So you're able to set that. We're very excited about the back-end analytics opportunities so that we can measure the impacts and the results of this product. We are able to gauge what are the top products searched, you know, how many people are using it, how it's working on our website and in social media, what are the top assets that are clicked. You will see Alamance County in here. Alamance County is a part of the Heart of North Carolina region. They're working with other counties together. And we're excited that Farm Bureau in Alamance County is helping to support the growers and producers that are active in the app now from Alamance County. So from a marketing perspective, and I know that you all know this to be true with all of the special events that the Women's Resource Center offers, that nothing works without marketing. So everything is fully branded with the Visit North Carolina Farms icon on many different collateral pieces or deliverables that we share with every single community. So in Alamance County, Eleanor at the Cooperative Extension Office is our county-based app coordinator. So we have local coordinators that are tethered to us on the core app team at the state level. So they're provided with pop-up banners and window clings and buttons and anything that they need to promote the app within the community. These are some of the examples of the marketing push notifications that you may get on your phone, just to let you know what's available and how growers and producers are connecting with consumers. So we do have a website dedicated if you want to learn a little bit more about this product and how it's expanding. We are presently in 52 counties. We just added 14 counties yesterday. So we'll be onboarding 14 more counties, a lot along the coastline and along the border to Virginia as well. So we're looking to hit critical mass and be active in all 100 counties as soon as we can. Perhaps even in your community, you may have seen some promotions back in the summer. You know, it's been hard to promote activities for farmers, but one thing you could promote are picnics, outdoor experiences. So these t-shirts are actually made by TS Designs in Burlington using US grown cotton, made right in North Carolina. And we offered packages to each of the communities that are live in the app, so including Alamance County. And they received picnic blankets, pop-up market baskets, and t-shirts, and they were able to give those away through their own marketing campaigns within the community. So perhaps at a farmer's market, maybe through social media, through a website, just whatever they felt was a good fit for them. So we feel as though there's strength in this project in that we are connected to the farms directly through the local-based app coordinators. And then we are working from the high level to promote the app to increase as many user engagements and encourage folks to download the app. In about the time that you all host your herb festival, we will be launching for the first time a paid multimedia campaign statewide. So imagine billboards with big baskets of strawberries, encouraging folks to visit farms, download the app. So billboards, radio sponsorships, ads, social media, all kinds of digital marketing, that sort of thing, launched for about 6 weeks. So together, we are looking to be the go-to destination for farm visits and local food in the world. Thank you so much. So I'm happy to take any questions if there are any.
Annie, this was great. I'm sure there will be some questions. I want to say there were a couple in the chat. I downloaded the app while you were talking too. Do they promote anything like the herb festival? Is there a way that could be something sent out? Are you doing anything with festivals, I guess is a first question.
Yeah, so what I can do after we wrap up this call is I can connect you with Eleanor, who is the app administrator. Everything is coordinated locally. So, I know from history that, you use local growers
Right.
to acquire your herbs. So basically the local piece is what's critically important. Our job is to promote anything that is grown, raised, caught, made, supported through North Carolina agriculture. So you meet that criteria. What would have to happen is we'd have to make sure that there's availability of assets within Alamance County, and Eleanor will know that. So I'll connect you with Eleanor, and I could certainly see posting it as a special event and getting a push notification out to users, and it is incredibly valued. And you'd be amazed at many of the growers and producers get very excited when they see their name on the monthly reports that are distributed to stakeholders. So stakeholders could be county commissioners, other elected officials, the folks that are managing economic development in the community, that sort of thing. So it's all about ROI.
Okay, great. Really appreciate that. I think there's some more questions in the chat as well.
So shall I open the chat here? Let's see.
Sure.
Let's see. Okay, you guys bear with me. Oftentimes I bring an intern with me to manage to make a big list of the common questions.
So the first one that I see is, what type of lavender do you recommend for the home garden in Burlington?
Yes. So let's see. Truly, there are. Well, that's a really hard question. In that, number one, I have favorites, and I don't want to exactly share all my favorites. I want you to be able to make decisions based on the descriptions. So on our website, there is, and we're in the midst of reconstruction of our website because we adopted a new platform. So where you have to go now is if you clicked on the farm experiences within our online shop, there is a descriptor of each of the lavender plants that we're offering this spring, which are the ones that are most robust and consistently perform well in Southern gardens. And I think there's there might be 8 or 10 of them on there now. So you'll see a photo, you'll see a description. Truly, take a look at those images, read the descriptions. Usually what I do is I ask people to follow their nose. So if you are going to the Herb Festival and you're looking to choose lavender, I want you to think about lavender that smells really good to you, because all of them have a very different fragrance. Some smell like eucalyptus-like, and many people don't like that. Some smell more sweet, like Provence has a very sweet scent, where Grosso or Wilson's Giant or Dilly Dilly is a Lavandula intermedia. It has a sharper scent, and one that people don't really like at all. The lavender Stokesh, or the like Autoquast, a Spanish lavender, it's very spicy scented. So follow your nose. That's probably the best advice I can give you. And I wish we had scratch and sniff technology. Maybe that's next one day. I'm sorry. I'm going to try not to be long-winded so we can answer lots of questions.
Oh, that's great. That's a great thing to say. Somebody asked a question about having red clay in their yard as well.
Yeah. Okay, so like my husband says, you cannot dig a $1 hole for a $10 plant. You've got to dig the $10 hole. So especially in our clay soil. So so when I first ventured to the Mediterranean, where lavender grows natively. So first of all, you know, if I had to do it all over again, I'd probably be a blueberry farmer. You know, I'd probably be growing something else because lavender is a non-native and it is not easy. I mean, and full reveal, you know, but the things that you can do is that you can plant that lavender in a hole that offers a lot of drainage. So in the Mediterranean, lavender grows out of rock cliffs. The fields of lavender are pure rock. It's stunning to me. Like, the rocks are the size of your fist. When you see people trying to run through fields of lavender, they can't really run because there's so many rocks. I mean, I was shocked. So the first time I came back, I told Dale, add more rock, just add more rock, lots of rock. You've got to have that sharp drainage. What lavender likes is arid conditions beneath the soil and above the soil. Now, the above the soil challenge is ever present in North Carolina. I think the humidity today is 99%. Lavender hates humidity. So there's not a whole lot we can do about that, except do not crowd the lavender in your garden. It's antisocial in the South. Just kind of remember that. It doesn't want company. It's sort of like social distancing. So make sure, you know, you keep weeds around it, good air circulation. You know, you can certainly plant lots of things, you know, kind of in the foreground and the background, but it doesn't want to touch anything else. We made the mistake as one of the first lavender farms in the state to try to grow a hedge, and don't try to do that. They'll kill each other. Pretty much, they just, when their foliage touches, there's so much oil and moisture within the plants themselves that is just made worse by the humidity, that they just end up killing each other. So air circulation is vital. Now we add pretty much 50%, at least 50% rock to soil, and all of the planting instructions and tricks of the trade are on our website. But that's pretty much the gist of it. Raised beds, rock gardens, slopes, banks, anywhere that you have reflective light, anywhere that you can mimic the Mediterranean. So just think about, Nice, in Nice, France, or, Provence, anywhere where you can get that really harsh all day long light. They really need at least 6 hours of sun. But truly, they do not They do not shrivel at all day long light. They love it.
That's awesome. Bob Bird had a question about, he's downloaded the app, but he doesn't see authentically Alamance farmers markets that were organized by the Alamance Food Collaborative of Healthy Alamance. Are you familiar with that?
So I don't know the specifics of that, but I do invite you, Bob. So if you're on the app, what you can do is there's an info button that you can push, and it says, hey, I've got some feedback for you. So what happens is that information, you can vote for your next county. You can say, hey, have you heard about this particular farm or farmer's market? What we do is we track that information and we will send it to the local coordinators to work on adding the assets. And so that is so valuable, because the more assets, the more farmers markets, the more farms, the more herb festivals that we can promote, the more content, the more relevant this is to users, especially in real time. So thank you for bringing that up. Right now, we have a promotion happening from the core app team to add North Carolina fisheries and any North Carolina farmers market at no cost. There are nominal onboarding fees that are typically paid for by a cost share from our department and from local communities, but for farmers markets and fisheries that want to join in, none of that is the case right now. So thanks for bringing that up, Bob.
Thank you, Annie, and I'll send that feedback. The organization has set up 2 farmers markets during the good weather, one at Elon Community Church and one at the city of Burlington's North Park. And they've been very successful, and they're staffed with full-time people, you know, to
Awesome.
standardize the way that the farmers are dealt with and setting up their stores at the markets and all.
That's terrific. And, you know, I can't underscore the value of our farmers markets. You know, it's a go-to destination for local fresh food for our communities. And then secondly, you know, from the farmer's perspective, you know, when we talk about, you know, new emerging farmers, you know, that's usually that's their entree into the marketplace is a farmer's market. You know, oftentimes you'll see the youngest members of the agricultural community joining in farmers markets. So they're incredibly important and are important to our communities being as vibrant as they absolutely can be and as healthy as they absolutely can be. Thank you.
There's another question about if you have problems with deer while growing lavender.
Yeah, so the good news is that deer and bunnies don't like lavender. So like, and perhaps many of you all have realized this, but, you know, smelly, oily herbs, lavender, I mean, deer will steer clear. So rosemary, you know, garlic, chives, lavender, you know, plant those herbs amongst what I call deer candy. So your hostas and your pansies and your roses, all the things that the deer love to chow down on. Now, you know, it's not totally foolproof. I mean, but it certainly helps deter them. The biggest piece, you know, we kind of strategically plant, and I grow a lot of deer candy as well as lavender. So I kind of strategically place my oily herbs around. And the thinking is that the deer will not enter your garden when you strategically plant those oily, smelly herbs, because what it does is if they touch it, if it rubs against their coat, and you know, we all know, you know, rosemary and lavender have oils on them that can be so lasting on your clothes or on your hands that it messes up their sense of smell, which is how they sense danger. So they stay away from it because they don't want to to be, confused, in case, they are prey to someone. So they'll steer clear. Now, I see the deer on the periphery of our farm all the time. They will become tangled in, whatever we have going on out in the field, be it, irrigation lines or weed cover or whatever. They can be a nuisance in other ways, but they will not. I've never seen them eat lavender. They've never been an issue for us. Bunnies either. If you have a bunny problem.
There's another question about, have you considered expanding to other herbs, or is focusing on one more common for a grower?
Yeah, so very much, as a plant lover, we grow lots of other things here. I love fruit trees. I love Christmas trees. We have a lot of evergreens in. We have, we teach diversification of agricultural properties, and it's good for the land. So, we have this one area of the farm dedicated to lavender, and that was our beginning. And that's where our customers know and appreciate us and our value to the community. So kind of as a marketing professional, I was like, let's focus on one thing, one mission, one vision. But once people get here, they discover, oh, there's lots of other things happening as well. So perhaps one day, in working with the girls on their ideas, maybe they would consider, doing something other than being a lavender farm. When 20 some years ago, when we first decided, here's a family project that we can do together, we claimed the lavender farm piece just because it's like being a Pied Piper. The fragrance of lavender is one of the most popular in the world. And, as a marketing professional, I was like, even though people don't know about this herb yet, way back in 1999, when we were first starting, the top 3 questions were, what is that? Where is your farm? And when can I come visit? And so those 3 things were what kind of launched everything that we did. So we were so busy kind of managing those 3 questions that it was really important for us to be focused. I think the first tour we were ever on, farm tour we were ever on, was in 2004. There were 14 farms on the Central North Carolina farm tour. In 2014, there were 41 farms on that tour. So, the agricultural community has just continued to grow and thrive, especially small farms. So perhaps for the next generation, they can consider other ways to diversify, and maybe that would include many other herbs. I love them all. I grow a lot in my gardens, much to Dale Baggett's chagrin.
That's great. There was a question about, does the lavender grow well in a container?
Good question. It does. So lavender in containers does really well. You can have that raised bed sort of opportunity. You can make sure it's got the great drainage. Just remember that, and I'll also add that I do have a lot of kind of farm friends who perhaps only have a tiny little slice of sunshine where they're able to drag their pot to follow that sunshine so it gets 6 hours of light daily. But you can have it, at least, one lavender in a pot. Just remember that it's going to be 15 degrees colder in that pot in the wintertime than it is in the ground. So having a plan for your pot of lavender, lavender's, it is survivable, below zero, and especially with with wind chill. But just a caution, we just don't want to expose those roots. Now, our winters are not as harsh as they once were when we first started growing lavender, but, I have farm friends who they sink the pot in a hole. They might wrap it in burlap, throw an old horse blanket over it, for those few cold days, drag it, to a warm corner, protected area of the house. There are lots of strategic options that you could employ to make sure that you keep your lavender for many years. Just make sure you read the descriptions, because when you select those herbs at the herb festival, they're going to be relatively small. They're not going to be gigantic plants, but as you saw in those images, lavender can grow, in diameter, over 3 feet. Some Provence plants I've seen, as wide as I am tall, which is 5 feet, so just make sure you have one with a good sturdy base. The roots only go down about 10 inches at the most, so very shallow rooted. You don't need anything really tall or wide. You just don't want it to be top heavy, so that a big gust of wind comes by and rolls your lavender plant and might bust your pot. Oftentimes we'll use those galvanized wash tubs or feed buckets, knock a few holes in the bottom for good drainage, and employ those. And they're light, so it makes it easy for dragging.
I like that idea. I see another question about, do you ever have internship or job opportunities on the farm?
So from time to time we do. We've been pretty much hunkered down trying to manage things as a family, and plus, things are a little bit different now. We have, like other small business operations, just trying to hang in there while things kind of continue to evolve and open up. So if there is interest, reach out. We do, when we have our special events. I have an individual who helps me with ambassadorships. So we recruit ambassadors. We work a lot with master gardeners to help them get their hours required to become a master gardener. We've worked with community college groups, if they need particular hours, whatever's kind of needed, if they need a guided tour and educational hours, we help with those kinds of opportunities. So, just reach out and ask. It never hurts to ask.
That's great. We just so appreciate you today. Does anybody else have any more questions? I tell you, I've personally learned a lot. And I'm very excited to maybe come visit later this year. So,
well, we would love it. We are trying to develop some fun and interesting ways for folks to visit the farm in June. So stay tuned to that. And thank you all so much for all that you're doing in your community, in your gardens. I wish you the absolute best with the Herb Festival, and I'll help out in any way that we can to promote it.
That's great.
Yeah, you all take care. Thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Annie. We really appreciate you. And thanks to all of you that are on our call today that took time to learn about Annie Baggett and the Sunshine Lavender Farm. We hope that you go out to our website and Annie's. On ours, you'll find all the information you need about the Herb Festival that's coming up. And then know that next month, after the Herb Festival, we will be hosting Coach Charlotte Smith from Elon University for Working Women's Wednesday. Thanks, everybody. Hope you have a great day.